Borobudur is not a Buddha temple by H.G. Sudan Adil. The history of the existence of Borobudur so far refers to colonial historians and colonial rulers who of course aim for their colonial interests or are also based on folklore chronicles that are shared by historians today. The person who coined the name Borobudur and recorded in history today as the colonial ruler of the British in Java at that time, namely Sir Thomas Stamford Raffles, based in the name of the nearest village, namely the village of Boro, and the word Budu in a Javanese term which means ancient. Since then the word Borobudur was considered by colonial historians to be Boro and Budur and then Borobudur, which means an ancient village and is connected with Buddhist teachings from India. This method of creating the name and history of Borobudur is now being denied by the local historian of the Indonesian nation himself, Santo Saba, who has researched this historical site of Borobudur for years and concluded that this historical site is not a building for worship or a Buddhist or Hindu religious temple. This is also inspired by the existence of archipelago ancestral teachings that existed for hundreds of years BC, namely, Dharmic original. As explained in the previous article, he is of the opinion that it is true that Hindu, Buddhist teachings originated in India, but it is not true that historical sites in the archipelago or Indonesia are based on Hindu, Buddhist teachings. In fact, what is depicted on these sites is the teachings that underlie their birth: Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainas in India. Even in historical literature, there are still many who doubt that Hindu, Buddhist teachings entered and spread their understanding to this archipelago through their priests, through trade and shipping. Because almost all historical sites in the archipelago are located in the interior and at that time had major transportation barriers. The various theories of colonial historians that exist regarding the entry of Hindu, Buddhist teachings into the archipelago have several weaknesses, such as 1. Knight theory assumes that the knights did not master Sanskrit and the Pallawa letters found in the Vedas. There are no inscriptions that describe the conquest of the archipelago by the Indian kingdom. There is no record of escaping knights from India who might have earned a noble position as king in the archipelago. 2. The Vaishyan theory assumes that the Vaishya did not master Sanskrit and the Pallawa script. Most of the Hindu-Buddhist empires were located inland, not on the coast close to shipping lanes. The motive of the Vaishya group is only to trade, not to spread religion. Although there were Indian merchant villages, their position was no different from that of the common people. 3. The Brahmana theory states that it is impossible for kings in the archipelago to understand the contents of the Vedas without being guided by the Brahmins. According to ancient Hindu teachings, a Brahmin is prohibited from crossing the ocean, let alone leaving his homeland. 4. Sundra's theory. The Sudra caste, unskilled workers, from India want a better life by going to other areas, one of which is the archipelago. The Shudra caste group left India, because they wanted to get a position and be more respected. This theory caused controversy because the Shudras consisted of a group with the lowest degrees, so that it was considered unworthy of spreading Hinduism. Apart from that, the Shudras had no intention of leaving India to spread religion, nor did they master the Sanskrit language used in the Vedic scriptures. It is not clear when and who the Hindu, Buddhist, missionaries, preachers, who were born in India during the pre-Islamic period entered the archipelago, so that sites in the archipelago are said to be based on one of these Indian teachings to be irrelevant, and there is also no clear record about their existence. In the archipelago in the 4th to 7th century AD, it was not recorded that Indian missionaries came to the archipelago. It is precisely the Chinese pilgrims who come to the archipelago to learn and record the Dharmic original teachings that have existed for a long time in the archipelago, not to bring the teachings from their country to the archipelago. The first recorded pilgrims from China who came to the archipelago were Fa Huan 337-422, ad who made the journey, recorded and translated by Korean recension from the Chinese text by James Legge, who saw the Fa Huan building with a statue in it. Beside the big tree is the Mendit site. On the Borobudur site itself, there are many reliefs depicting the life of pre-Islamic people based on the original teachings of the archipelago. The basic relief, which is not exposed, is published with the name Karmawibanga, using the interpretation of the Mahakarmawibanga text, but does not fully follow the text. Burnett Kemper's 1970, 151 and 1976. A bhikkhuni who was also an academic from Thailand concluded that only 50% corresponded to the biography of Ven. Siddhartha Gautama and the rest did not understand. Vwana Chaka Phala is now published called Borobudur, There are 160 panels on the bas-reliefs of Borobudur which are now not exposed to the language and teachings that underlie the original teachings of our ancestors, not from India. The 12 words, svarga, are not, nirvana, nibbana, and the other words are kusaladharmabhajana and mahachakya proves that in this land the original dharma teachings originated now perfectly preserved in Bali. In the past brought by our ancestors the Kaka, Saka, Kakya, Arya left the archipelago and spread all over the world. From the visual image of a photo of the Borobudur site in 1866, which is in the library of the University of Leiden, the Netherlands, shows that there are also no stupas and Buddhist statues on the tops and terraces of the Borobudur site. In fact, the Borobudur site has been frequently renovated by the authorities in a number of times until now. Of course, every renovation was adjusted to the goals and wishes of the ruler at that time. It can be concluded that it is true that Hindu, Buddhist teachings originated from India and it is not true that sites in the archipelago or Indonesia today are based on Hindu, Buddhist teachings, so it is also not true that the historical site of Borobudur is a Buddhist or Hindu temple. In fact, what is depicted on the site is the original, Dharmic original teachings, of the archipelago which underlies the birth of Hindu, Buddhist and Jaina teachings in India there. True Back History Indonesia. The author is the chairperson of the DPPFKMI, Indonesian Muslim Communication Forum, Bogor, the 12th of May 2021.